The trailer for Blood of My Blood Season 2 has finally dropped, and if you thought the first season's ending was intense, just wait until you see what's coming next. The air is thick with rebellion, blood, and heartbreak. The preview wastes no time reminding us of where things left off. The burning hills, the fiery crosses lighting up the Scottish sky, and Brian standing in the mist with that haunted look in his eyes. It's not just a new chapter in his life, it's the beginning of a war that will define him, destroy alliances, and test his love for Ellen in ways neither of them could ever imagine. The trailer promises tragedy, loyalty, and betrayal all wrapped in one, and this time, no one will walk away untouched. Season 2 picks up right after the night Brian and Ellen fled Castle Leoch. Their secret marriage and Malcolm Grant's death have set fire to a fragile peace that was already close to breaking. Every clan is whispering the same question: who spilled noble blood, and who will pay for it? The Mackenzies want revenge. The Grants want justice. And somewhere between the chaos stands Brian, caught between love and duty, hunted by men who once called him brother. The trailer shows glimpses of him wandering through the Highland mist, sword in hand, his face hardened, no longer the hesitant dreamer we once knew. That boy who once believed in promises is gone. What remains is a man who's tasted guilt, blood, and loss. And yet, behind all that darkness, there's one thing that keeps him moving: Ellen. Ellen's story takes a darker turn too. Once the obedient daughter, now she's branded a traitor. Her name, once whispered with admiration, now carries the weight of scandal and betrayal. The trailer briefly shows her running through the woods, her cloak torn, a child's cry echoing faintly in the distance. Could it be? The rumors say that Ellen might already be carrying Brian's child, which means the stakes have never been higher. If the clans discover it, her life, and the life of her unborn child, could be in grave danger. What's fascinating is how Ellen's strength seems to grow with every hardship. There's a quick flash in the trailer. Ellen standing before the burning horizon, her voice trembling but firm, saying, "They will not take him from me again." It's clear this season will not just be about Brian's transformation, but Ellen's as well. Meanwhile, the Jacobite rebellion is rising like a storm. The trailer shows marching armies, fluttering banners, and the grim face of war approaching faster than anyone is ready for. Brian's loyalty to his heritage is about to be tested. The teaser hints that he'll be forced to fight for the cause. Not because he believes in it, but because refusing would mean death or dishonor. And yet, his heart remains torn. He knows that joining the rebellion might mean leaving Ellen forever. The narration in the trailer whispers, "Some men fight for kings. Others fight for freedom. I fight for love." That line alone sends chills down the spine, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the emotional conflict driving the entire story forward. But it's not just Scotland that's burning. Across time, Julia's story continues too. Her desperate leap through the stones might have saved William, but it separated her from Henry. The trailer flashes between timelines. Henry wandering a battlefield in confusion, soldiers shouting around him, while Julia wakes in her own century, holding her son, and realizing Henry didn't make it through. It's devastating. There's a haunting shot of her looking at the stones, whispering, "I will find you," before the wind howls and the camera cuts back to the 1700s. It's that promise that ties the two worlds together. Love fighting against the barriers of time itself. What's most thrilling is how the show seems ready to blend both timelines more closely than ever. The stones pulse, voices echo between centuries, and the trailer hints at a shocking twist, that Julia and Ellen's stories might be more connected than anyone thought. Some fans believe that Julia could actually be a distant descendant of Ellen, which would make her journey not just about saving her husband, but understanding where she truly came from. If that's true, then Blood of My Blood is about more than just love or war. It's about destiny repeating itself, generation after generation. And let's not forget Colm and the Mackenzies. Season 2's trailer shows Colm facing the fallout of his decisions. His cold confidence seems to have cracked. There's a brief scene where he looks into the distance, muttering, "The blood you spill always finds its way home." That one line suggests he might finally face the consequences of manipulating everyone around him. Meanwhile, Dougal seems more dangerous than ever, rallying men to his cause and calling for vengeance. He shouts, "The Fraser boys stole what was ours." The tone of the trailer is darker, more desperate. The music swells like a funeral march mixed with a battle cry, symbolizing that no matter how far Brian and Ellen run, the ghosts of their choices will follow them. This isn't just a love story anymore. It's a tragedy in motion. The flames of rebellion, guilt, and forbidden love are all colliding, setting the stage for something unforgettable. Season 2 is shaping up to be a haunting blend of romance, war, and fate. The trailer ends on a powerful note. Brian standing on a hill, rain pouring down, his sword drawn, Ellen's voice echoing softly. "Whither thou goest, I will go." The screen fades to black with a single word: soon. And honestly, after watching that, you just know that this season will tear your heart apart all over again. The trailer might only last a few minutes, but the silence that follows it stays with you. It's the kind of trailer that leaves more questions than answers, and every frame feels like a hidden message. One of the most striking moments shows Brian standing before a gathering of clansmen, the red and gold banners fluttering behind him. His face is unreadable, almost haunted, as if the weight of every life he's taken has finally settled on his shoulders. But there's something else too, a flicker of defiance in his eyes. The narrator's voice says, "To fight for peace, I must first embrace war." That line alone tells us Brian is no longer the man who once hesitated to draw his sword. The events of Season 1 changed him. Malcolm's death, the betrayal of his kin, and the impossible choice between honor and love have pushed him past the point of no return. But the most gripping part of the trailer isn't the battlefield. It's the emotional aftermath. There's a glimpse of Brian washing blood from his hands in a cold stream, his reflection trembling in the water. He whispers something we can barely hear. "I did what I had to." Those 5 words carry the entire theme of the upcoming season: survival. Not glory, not vengeance, but survival. And in that single shot, we understand that Brian isn't fighting because he believes in a cause anymore. He's fighting because it's the only way to keep Ellen alive. Speaking of Ellen, her journey is set to be just as heart-wrenching. Season 2 shows her adapting to a world where every step she takes is shadowed by danger. The Grants and Mackenzies both want her found. One for revenge, the other for power. Another mystery introduced in the trailer is the appearance of a new character, a Highlander with a scar running down his face, known only as the Stranger. He's seen speaking to Ellen near a battlefield, telling her, "You can't save him if you don't understand the cause he fights for." Fans are already speculating that this man could be a former ally of the Grants, or even a ghost from Brian's past, perhaps someone who knows about his lineage more than Brian himself does. Whatever his role, his presence feels dangerous, almost prophetic, as if he knows how this rebellion will end. The rebellion itself looks massive in scale. The production value has clearly skyrocketed. We see endless lines of men marching through the glens, carrying the white flag of the Stuarts, their faces lit by torchlight. The music swells with bagpipes and drums, echoing the heartbeat of a nation on the brink of destruction. And yet, amid all this chaos, Brian looks detached, as if he knows the rebellion will fail before it even begins. There's a chilling scene where Dougal Mackenzie confronts him, shouting, "You'd betray your king for a woman?" And Brian simply replies, "I'd betray the world for her." It's raw, it's powerful, and it perfectly sums up his mindset. Meanwhile, the trailer confirms that Julia's arc in the modern timeline will mirror Brian's internal conflict. She's seen standing in front of the Craignadoon stones, her hands trembling as she tries to hear something, maybe Henry's voice from the past. The voiceover says, "Time doesn't break love, it tests it." In another quick flash, we see Henry caught in a foggy battlefield, calling out for Julia as explosions echo in the distance. It's clear he's still trapped in the 18th century, possibly even near the same conflict Brian will fight in. That parallel alone promises a heart-stopping reunion, or maybe another tragic separation. And then there's that single shot that everyone's talking about. The one where Julia finds an old portrait of Brian and Ellen hidden in a Scottish manor. The moment her fingers touch the painting, the camera lingers on her expression. Disbelief mixed with recognition. The resemblance between Brian and Henry is uncanny. Could the show be hinting that Julia's husband, Henry, might be a direct descendant of Brian and Ellen? If so, their stories aren't just connected by the stones, they're bound by blood. It would mean the love that began in the 1700s has echoed through generations, reshaping fate itself. The trailer keeps dropping breadcrumbs like that, glimpses of connections, echoes of dialogue, and repeated symbols. One recurring image is that of fire and water. The fire of war, the water of redemption. In one haunting moment, Ellen stands by a lake, holding a burning letter, watching the flames die out in the reflection. Viewers believe this could be a letter from Brian, one she destroys to protect him, symbolizing that some promises are too dangerous to keep written down. There's also an intense focus on destiny. The voiceover near the end says, "Blood remembers." Even when time forgets, that line feels like the core of Season 2. The idea that love, guilt, and lineage can't be erased, no matter how many centuries pass. Brian and Ellen's choices are shaping lives hundreds of years later, and that realization makes everything they do feel both epic and tragic. Every shot, every whispered word feels like a warning that history is about to repeat itself, and this time, no one will escape unscathed. Season 2 doesn't just promise drama, it promises reckoning. The truth about Brian and Ellen isn't just about their forbidden love. It's about how far two souls will go to defy fate itself. As the trailer deepens, the tone shifts from passion to pure survival. The soft, romantic hues of Brian and Ellen's secret escape are replaced with the harsh grays of war. You can almost feel the cold Highland wind cutting through every frame. The sound of bagpipes fades into the distant screams of men marching toward their fate, and for the first time, we see Brian fully armored, standing among soldiers who barely know his name. There's no joy in his eyes, only the acceptance of what must be done. One of the most chilling moments in the preview shows him staring at a burning village, whispering, "This isn't what we fought for." That line alone captures the tragedy of Brian's journey. He began as a man of honor and love, but war is slowly twisting him into something unrecognizable. And yet, the trailer makes one thing painfully clear. Brian's greatest enemy isn't the English, or even the rebellion itself, but his own guilt. There's a moment when he's confronted by a young soldier, barely more than a boy, who calls him a murderer. The screen cuts to black as the word echoes, "murderer." When the light returns, Brian's eyes are filled with tears, and the narrator says, "Blood demands its price." It's poetic, haunting, and serves as a reminder that the rebellion isn't just a backdrop, it's a mirror reflecting the blood on everyone's hands. Meanwhile, Ellen's storyline grows more mysterious. We see her hiding in a secluded cottage, the light flickering across her face as she reads a letter by candlelight. Her hands tremble as she whispers Brian's name, the ink smeared by tears. The trailer doesn't reveal what the letter says, but there's a single phrase visible. "Don't come for me." That one line has already sent fans spiraling into theories. Did Brian send it to protect her, or did someone else forge it to lure her into danger? The next shot suggests the latter, as we see Ellen surrounded by strangers, her expression torn between confusion and fear. She's no longer just running from the clans. She's caught in a web of lies that could change everything she thought she knew about Brian's past. And it's that past that becomes the season's biggest mystery. There's a shadow that's been following Brian since the first season, whispers that he's not who he claims to be, that his lineage holds secrets tied to both clans. The trailer gives us our first real hint. A cloaked figure tells Ellen, "He carries more than one man's blood." The phrase sounds almost supernatural, but in the Outlander universe, it could mean anything. Lineage, destiny, or even reincarnation. What's fascinating is that Ellen doesn't deny it. Instead, she asks, "Then what am I?" as if realizing her fate might be bound to something greater than love alone. That single moment hints that both Brian and Ellen could be pawns in a story much older than themselves. The rebellion grows more intense as the trailer cuts to the Battle of Sheriffmoor, a chaotic storm of swords, mud, and fire. The camera moves like a heartbeat, fast and uneven, showing flashes of familiar faces. Men falling, banners burning, Brian pushing through the smoke, shouting Ellen's name as if she could somehow hear him across time. It's beautifully tragic because we know that while he's fighting on one side of history, Julia is standing before the same stones centuries later, whispering his name too. The editing connects their cries as if their souls are calling to each other through the centuries. It's one of those goosebump moments that defines this show, love and tragedy intertwined beyond logic. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping revelation comes near the end of the trailer. We see Julia uncovering an old diary written by someone named E.M. Fraser. Inside, she finds sketches of the rebellion, descriptions of a man with Brian's likeness, and a final entry that reads, "He never returned from the hills." The shock on her face says it all. Ellen survived. The implications are enormous. If Ellen lived after the rebellion, then the legacy of her and Brian's love story may be far from over. Fans are already speculating that Julia might be Ellen's direct descendant, which could explain the pull she feels toward the stones. A blood memory passed through generations. Back in the 1700s, Ellen's world is collapsing. The Mackenzies have put a bounty on Brian's head, and every ally she once trusted has turned into a potential traitor. In one scene, she meets with Jocasta again, now older, wiser, and visibly heartbroken by everything their family has lost. Jocasta tells her, "The price of love is always paid in silence." It's a haunting line, one that foreshadows Ellen's next decision, because it seems that Ellen will have to vanish completely to keep Brian's memory alive. Whether by choice or by force, she will become another ghost in Scottish history, a name spoken only in whispers. And somewhere far from her, Brian's fate seems sealed. The trailer ends with a gut-wrenching scene. Brian kneeling in the mud, his sword broken, soldiers approaching from all sides. The light fades as Ellen's voice echoes softly, "Where thou diest, I will die." But before the final blow, the screen cuts to black. Then, just for a moment, we hear a heartbeat. Slow, fading, and then silence. No confirmation, no closure, just unbearable tension. That's how you know Blood of My Blood Season 2 is going to play with our emotions from start to finish. If the first season was about forbidden love, Season 2 is about the cost of that love. Every action, every secret, every drop of blood spilled now comes back tenfold. The rebellion is not just a war of clans, it's a war of hearts, of destinies, and of ghosts that refuse to stay buried. And as the trailer fades to black, one final line appears on screen. "What is lost in blood returns in time." That single phrase might just hold the key to everything that's coming next. The more you watch the trailer, the more you realize that Blood of My Blood Season 2 isn't just a continuation, it's a reckoning. Every choice, every betrayal, every secret from Season 1 is coming back to haunt its characters, and there's no escaping what's been set in motion. The rebellion might be the heart of the story, but the soul of this season lies in the relationships. The love that defied clans, the guilt that consumed families, and the blood that ties past and future together. The first half of the trailer draws you into the chaos of war, but it's the second half that grips your heart. The screen fades from battlefields to softer scenes, mist curling over the moors, a single candle burning in a darkened room, Ellen's silhouette framed by dawnlight. Her voice narrates, "They told me love would be my ruin." They were right. And it's that confession that sets the emotional tone for the entire season. Ellen's world becomes smaller and darker as the rebellion consumes Scotland. The trailer shows her living in constant fear, hiding in abandoned cottages, clutching the tartan that once belonged to Brian, her only proof that he ever existed. But there's something else in her eyes now: resolve. She's not just a grieving lover, she's a survivor. The trailer teases a powerful moment where Ellen returns to Castle Leoch, not as the obedient daughter or the runaway bride, but as a woman ready to confront the men who destroyed everything she loved. She walks through those halls again, the same halls that once echoed with her laughter, now silent and cold. In a chilling exchange, Colum tells her, "You've brought ruin to us all." And Ellen calmly replies, "No, you did that when you tried to play God." That single moment shows that Ellen is no longer afraid. She's finally facing the legacy of her family's cruelty, and she's doing it alone.